Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special, brand new episode of Holotheatre. As always, I am Dan Tartaglia, also known as D Tartag1. Joining me today for the first time ever, your local avian, favorite avian person, Mr. Tommy Lodgepole himself. How you doing today, Tommy?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Dan. Happy to co-host. We got Lodgepole here, ready to help you guys go through the interview.
So this is a special episode because this is the first episode of its kind. Tommy approached me after Worlds, introducing me to the three fellows that you see on the screen: Mr. Clayton Moore, Rhett Jeskal, Rhett, and Steve Carey. Introduced me to these three guys, told me a little bit about their story, and the rest is now history. So, Tommy, why don't you go ahead and tell us what the idea was and what we're doing today?
Yeah, a lot of the people in the Star Wars community know a little something about Worlds 2024 over in Bochum, Germany, where these beautiful Grandiza cards were given out as prize support. And I just thought it was so incredible. I had a couple of friends, Ponera and Clayton Seymour 89, that were over in Calgary. At the same time, 53 people were showing down over in Worlds in Bochum. And I thought of this really cool idea based on your favorite Tales books. These books were happened in parallel to the main storyline. They're full of tales of, Danik Jericho's eating soups. There was a story of the Rancor handler in there. I just thought it would be super cool for the people up in the Calgary scene who we're about to meet to tell their tale about what was happening in the Battle of Hoth while the World Championship was occurring in Bochum this year.
And I for one, love the ideas. We approached the rest of the producers for Holotheatre. They love the idea, and here we are. So first of all, why don't we hear who you three guys are? Let's hear a little bit about your backstory, what got you into Star Wars, and why you guys are playing Star Wars now in 2024. And we can start with whomever you guys want to start with.
I can go first.
Yeah, Supreme Overlord, please.
I don't know if you can call me that, but so I'm Steve, or Panera on GEMP, I guess, or on the Discords. I guess it may have started with me in the Calgary scene here. Basically, it started with me getting back into collecting, just buying cards, I guess, buying collections, and reached out to my friend Tim, who actually did a large tournament involving Star Wars Armada, Legion, that whole miniature stuff. This was like a year and a half ago now, when I saw on Facebook that he was part of the Star Wars CCG group. So I randomly messaged him and was like, "Hey, do you play this game?" And he was like, "Why would you ask me that?" Yes, it's kind of weird. And so we did, I think, a little bit of trading. I wasn't actually playing the game at the time. And then I was on the Facebook group, and Rhett actually was looking to buy some cards. And he was such a nice guy that I was like, "Not on my watch will you be paying $1 per Jabba's Palace Rare." And it turns out it was super close to me. And so he came over and took like 800 cards or something like that from the bulk. And this was good bulk too. This was back when
It's
good cards.
crazy.
It was a lot. Yeah, then you came back more and more. And then we just decided, let's actually play the game.
Yeah.
And then you added your childhood friend John, and Tim added his childhood friend Austin. And then there's a store here called Metal Galaxy, which is really awesome, a card store. And he buys collections as well and then sells the singles. And so here we are with like a store that supports the game, and 5 regular players that play every week with a cohesive rule set. And we sort of share communal bulk and do pretty generous trading and stuff. That's sort of the story.
No, that's
It really
awesome.
helps that owner of Metal Galaxy. He's really passionate about the game too. Like he played like back in the day, and he's he's told me that he prefers like more thematic stuff, like paired decks rather than just going for the throat every time. He's like, yeah, he likes doing the cinematic sort of thing, and I it kind of resonates with me too. So it's a really good group. Yeah.
Oh no, see that's awesome. I for one love that, like the fact that you guys have a weekly game. Now, is there like a date in specific that you guys play, or is it just whenever you feel like it?
Not really. Like we typically try to do like once every week or every other week. You know, sometimes when everybody's busy, it's monthly, but it seems like we're just, try to make it regular, but it's
Yeah,
never
two to
really on.
four, like 2 to 4 times a week, or a week, that would be crazy. 2 to 4 times a month is about how often we hit. So yeah, it varies based on schedules because we're all adults, but yeah, that's about as often as it is. And then Clayton is shooting a movie here for the last month, and he decided to join us, and it has been absolutely awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
nice. So I have to ask. I know this is like besides the fact, but how is it shooting a movie out in Calgary, Clayton?
It's very cold. We've been having it's a horror movie, so there's a lot of night stuff. So we're a lot of overnights, and it's been pretty exhausting overall. But the scenery here is beautiful. The people here are really nice to work with, and everything's great here. So it's been nice to have this to kind of come into the group of guys and be able to play Star Wars as a way for me to kind of wind down and just reset myself after my long crazy busy nights and weeks of shooting the movie. So they've been very welcoming, and it's just been a blast so far.
We had a bit of a history with you before as well. We do this whenever we can. When we buy a collection, we try to do it together. And so in one instance, we included you,
Yeah.
where we break up the collection by doing sort of what we call a draft, which is more like a sports draft, where like we assign like a first overall, second overall, and we sort of pick like one card, and then someone else will pick a card, and then someone else will pick a card, and we go down the line until all the good cards have been exhausted, and then it goes into the bulk as a free for all. And so we did this with Clayton one time, and he, knowingly that Rhett really wanted a Daughter of Skywalker and a few other cards, slipped those into the draft and allowed the pick of the Daughter of Skywalker for him. And this guy, yeah, this was an amazing
Objectively my
move.
favorite light side character card. Yeah.
And you had no idea this was going to happen, and he did this without meeting any of us in person at all. Just out of the kindness of his heart, did this, and he didn't even know he was coming to Calgary yet at this point. Just slid these in. I think Red Leader may have been in there too. There was a few other smaller ones that were just slipped in there. And so Tim and I knew this ahead of time and knew like we weren't going to pick these cards, and so they kind of fell to you in the draft.
I got bamboozled.
It doesn't sound like you really did.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah,
A good way.
it was a really great moment. And then again, he brought us goodies as well. Like today we were just casually playing, and I was like, oh, I'd really like an Imperial Command, and he's just like, here, take one. And it's just, well, I was intending to buy it, but sure. Thank you again, by the way. So we've had this great relationship with him for like a year now, maybe.
Yeah.
So for him to just, yeah, and for you,
reminds
and I always send you the miscut cards just whenever I get them. Just here you go. So it's been awesome having you here, and you kind of just assimilated into the group the moment you step through those doors. And you also play like the same format as us, which is really, really helpful.
Yeah, that helps.
Right? Yeah, there's no slap fighting about like, can I use this wacky card that we've never heard of before? No offense to the people who use the wacky cards that we've never heard of before, but it's been absolutely awesome. So we've had I think we've now played with you 3 times in the month, and it's just been great.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing, and it's it's part of the reason why I was quick, and Onera, you can attest to the fact that I was quick to jump all over this when I found out that the Battle of Hoth had once again commenced after a long time. The Players Committee hasn't seen a lot of activity up in the Canada region. So when we found this small pocket of people that are so passionate about it, that are so generous, we just had to bring this in front of the rest of the group. And to thank you very much again for coming on. I just want to speak to that. I'm a new player as well. Clayton was one of the first people I ever played on GEMP. 4 a.m. just cranking out premiere-only games, premiere New Hope games, trying to figure the cards out again, because I never played when I was younger. A little nugget from the Large Porg origin story there. But it just is amazing, right? The generosity, the good nature of the Star Wars CCG community is present in all parts of the world, even when you're not normally linked to the larger group. So it's an incredible thing. I think it has to do with the card game in general. It brings the best out of people. That's why everyone should play Star Wars CCG. Best game in the whole galaxy.
Ever. Best game ever. Yep.
It really is. It really is up there. Like, I haven't seen like any other CCG that's quite like it. Like, there's always MTG, like Magic. I play Magic, fairly regularly, once a month with folks. And this game, it has more heart, I feel. Like like in terms of CCGs, MTG seems like polished because it's live and everything like that, and balanced and whatnot. But this game, Star Wars CCG, doesn't have, I don't know, I wouldn't say that level of polish, but it certainly has some, like a charm to it, like a quirkiness to it, and the word choice in all of the lore text and stuff like that really reflects on the developers and how much fun they were having when they were making it. Like little tidbits of I don't know, Easter eggs and stuff, like even thing on the side of Gravelstorm saying this card rocks. It's like, that's hilarious. Nobody, no CCG does that like anymore. It's cool. It has a lot of heart, and the mechanics reflect it. Right? They're very thematic.
Those mechanics that you take advantage of all the time, playing cards like Star Destroyer out of nowhere.
You have to say it. It's in the text. You have to yell Star Destroyer.
That was one
rules.
thing.
Sorry.
Totally jumped out at me, right? Polonera, Steve said, we were at Worlds, and then he's like, yeah, some guy played Star Destroyer at the Hoth event. I'm like, what?
It was against me, and it's the first time I've ever seen the card played. And Rhett was very adamant about saying Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer.
And I was just like, what?
There's got to be some context on how you played the Star Destroyer card, because, like we've said, as a player who's been playing for a while, I've never seen anybody play it on me. Like,
okay. So it works really well with when you're about to shoot a weapon, right? So like if somebody moves the Star Destroyer over, and it's like, you or deploys and is intending to battle you with a Star Destroyer in space. You play that card, goes on the top of your used pile, and then your used pile goes on. Yeah, that's exactly it. And then your used pile goes on top of your reserve deck. So there's a 7 there, Destiny 7.
Yep.
And so the way that this deck was working was, it's a hit and run deck. So I've got weapons on this thing. I've already got a intruder missile and like a quad laser cannon or something on there. I shoot with the quad laser cannon, hit with a 7, and then I don't know. It's always good. And then I don't know, if it doesn't hit, or for some reason there's some shenanigans, I can just leave because hit and run.
That sounds.
I just thought it was hilarious.
I can see why Clayton and Steve are like, why are you playing these type of decks against us?
But you don't expect it. You don't see it.
No.
No, it's great.
Yeah, he's like that was a named Star Destroyer that got shot down.
Yeah,
You know,
hilarious.
it worked.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this card here, Star Destroyer, Destiny 7, is on the Team 5 hidden card list that they don't play because they don't want people to play it against them.
Yeah.
Go out there on a limb.
I mean,
Or it just never anybody thought about using Star Destroyer as a Star Destroyer killer card.
Yeah.
yeah, right. Like,
Talking about warping the whole meta, now everything is going to be different now, starting with the next event up in Seattle, the Super Weekend. So we'll see how this interview changes the entire world Star Wars CCG play.
yeah,
We might see it. So now you guys let's get a little bit of backstory. Like, how long have you guys actually been playing the game? Because the game was first created back in 1995. Stopped production 2001. PC took over 2002. Where's your history on that timeline?
I mean, I collected it until what was it? Special edition, and never actually played the game. And so we picked it up. When did we pick it up as a group? Like
so that
last
was
summer?
last year, like last summer. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you and I met last spring-ish, like
Yeah.
no, spring of 2023, right? So
Wow.
it's been a year, like last year. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing almost since the start. I don't remember exactly when, but I know that I started with the 2-player set. I probably found it at Walmart or Target or something. And at the time, I was 13, 14 years old, and it just the timing of it was perfect for me. And I kind of had the cards for a while. Took me a long time to learn how to actually play, and then discovered a comic shop that sold the expansions and stuff. So then I think I really started getting into it right when Hoth came out, and then discovered that they would do, weekly tournaments. And I mean, the rest was history. I was going to tournaments every week. Like, I just eat, sleep, breathe this game. And then I stopped playing just after Endor came out, and that's when I kind of went off to college and had other priorities. So like the golden age of Star Wars CCG for me was basically like premiere through Endor. So yeah.
For me, like I started playing CCGs. I started playing Magic the Gathering in like as a kid in elementary or middle school, like 1997. And one friend of mine who who got into Star Wars CCG was really tried to get more people in and playing with him. But I was just too invested in MTG at the time, so it was it's for me it wasn't a thing. Part of my childhood, I saw his cards and he tried to explain it to me, and I was it's neat because it's Star Wars, but I was always just more into Magic. Everybody was into Magic, so for me it wasn't really a childhood thing. But now I almost feel like it helped with getting into it, uh, fresh last year, because I kind of remember, these cards and the mechanics and stuff and how they were really confusing, but now they click, and yeah, I actually had the opportunity to go visit that old friend who still has all of his cards, and I was able to play with him finally, and we had like a long weekend, 4 or 5 days of just playing Star Wars CCG, like,
Cool.
like he did, in his childhood, and I got to experience that, and we even cracked some packs, and it was fun, but yeah, like it wasn't anything for me, uh, other than just, Star Wars and nostalgia, getting into it this last year. So, yeah.
Make the guy an offer, walk out of there with a couple of Tupperwares of cards, or what?
Well, I mean, we did some trades. Yeah, we did some trades. I even brought some cards from Steve for him to trade with him. So it was good. He lives on the West Coast, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of
no, it's
crafting
fun, man.
packs, Clayton brought, what was it, 6 packs for us each.
Each.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them are really good, and of course, John, this
One
one guy
guy.
in our group, he
John,
pulls,
my old friend.
yeah, he pulls the only good stuff. He pulls an Obi-Wan, Jabba's Palace Leia, IG-88, and what
Yep.
was there one more that he pulled that was really good? I can't
Something.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
like every single pack he had was amazing, and we were just
Yeah.
sitting there like, great. It was hilarious that every single thing. He was like a hand of Midas.
Oh, he got a
Um,
Chewbacca too.
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
a
he got a
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Out of the New Hope, he got Chewbacca.
Yeah.
He got
It was-
Slave Leia. He got,
Yeah.
oh man.
It was so funny, but it was great that Clayton brought these packs because that added to, the first night that he was here with, well, not the first night he was physically here, but the first time we met him physically, we were all opening packs. We played a bunch of games. It was so awesome. Yeah, so that reminded me that we should point out that he brought packs for us as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun opening packs together.
Yeah.
So much fun. I love it. I think my best pull was probably just, oh gosh, what was it?
Started.
I didn't get Star Destroyer. I wish I got another Star Destroyer. I only have one.
I did actually pull a Seeker, so we kind of
Oh,
saw that.
there you go.
No,
Oh, brilliant.
always a Seeker, right?
Well, see, there's nothing like ripping open a few hundred Star Wars CCG packs and the smell of the cards permeating the whole room. That was one memory.
Yeah,
for me. That was
Every
awesome.
person was like,
Yeah, the 20-year-old, printer air. Yeah.
Beautiful 2000, 1999 air.
yep.
But you talked about, Steve, you talked about how you started the scene kind of by being the nexus of a small growing collection. One thing that really kind of blew me away was you always talked about the local meta, this meta, our closed meta. Can you talk about that particular aspect of how you guys played and how it started, what the best deck was when we first started talking? It was like the Walker's deck or something.
Oh, yeah.
Stepping on everything over there, and then how it's grown now.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, basically none of us play online. And that's not like a rule that we've imposed. It just naturally happened that none of us really play on GEMP. I don't know why that's the preference. It just is. And so as a result, we've got this closed meta that's developed all on its own. And so we don't really have this escalation of senses and alters and controls. It's sneaking in a little bit now, thanks to Tim. But
Austin too. Austin's got a lot of that.
oh yeah, well, Austin's getting help from Tim, so I wonder what the relationship is there.
Sure. Yeah.
No salt being thrown around at all. No, it's sneaking in because Tim's most powerful decks are Jedi centric, so it makes sense for him to have senses.
Yeah.
So we've got a closed ecosystem, and so as a result, cards like Star Destroyer or some of the more zany stuff, which Rhett is responsible for mostly, actually can find traction. Whereas I think, and we don't really watch Worlds either. I don't know why that is, but the zanier stuff can get a little bit more traction. And we also don't have a lot of access to things like, Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and stuff. Some of us have a budget and things like that. We are getting a few proxy prints and stuff like that now, so that may change in the immediate future. So our meta has kind of been dominated by, or not really dominated, but centered around one deck in particular, and that's been the Walker deck that I have been using. So it's been mostly drain centric, sort of standoffish. Come fight me, and if you do, there's an ice storm waiting for you with walkers.
So,
oh, good old ice storm.
I've started a count there, Steve.
Oh, what's that?
On my rogue base, I started a tally. You see that little walker with the one?
Oh,
First outing, it beat it.
Yeah, so now we have decks that are geared towards fighting the Walker deck,
Yeah.
but may not be successful against, say, the TIE Fighter deck. Um,
Absolutely.
so so the meta is starting to develop in that way. Now I'm going to have to adjust the Walker deck. You know how metas go. Um,
And I'll say it, it's because you took out those crash landings and tramples. That's the only reason. You
yeah,
took them
well,
out because nobody was fighting you. And of
yeah, well,
course, why would you waste the space, right? So yeah.
yeah, there was no room for them, and because there was no snow speed, there was no crash landing, and that's the way the meta goes.
Yep.
And so that's
That
sort of
gives fun
been
time.
centric to the meta. It's not necessarily the best deck. That would probably be Tim's Jedi deck, but or some of his really heavy hitter decks that have a lot of really, really powerful cards. But this deck has been centric to the meta for quite some time, and as a result, decks have adjusted to it, and that's the way it's been going. But now, thanks to some people deliberately trying to dismantle it, the the meta may be shifting in the coming weeks, and that's the natural way that metas go.
Yeah.
This is what really attracted me to this local scene, because the game for me is less of a competitive thing and it's more of a nostalgic uh, distraction or pastime or hobby. And so this walking into this meta, this local scene as an outsider, it just brought me right back to the good old days where you were playing locally in your card shop every week. The game had just come out. Everyone was exploring new cards, trying to make trades, trying to get cards. We didn't all have a lot of money. We were just teenagers, so you just play with what you have. And that is the difference between in person and online. Online is fun. I play tons of stuff on GEMP as well, but there is a difference. There's a little more competitiveness, cutthroat, whereas when you're playing in line or when you're playing in person, it's just there's a difference to it. It's a little more fun, a little more laid back. And so that's a big part of it for me, the love for this game and the nostalgia of it all.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to just play kitchen table
Yeah.
cards. Like
Yeah.
just that's what it
And
is.
and then
Kitchen table cards.
every 5 minutes you're thumbing through that rule book.
Hell yeah. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like how do you place it back again?
Like, wait,
Okay.
what?
No.
Yeah.
So you were talking about your meta and everything with this Walker deck. Like, what other types of decks do you guys bring to the table?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll start, and then it gets really exciting when Rhett goes off, because he. One reason why I wanted him to come on the show is because he's one of the more creative people.
Okay.
It doesn't always work for him, but he has a lot of fun and always says it with a smile. So one of my other favorite decks is a TIE Fighter deck. I believe it's very similar to the Andy Talega deck. I think I said his name right, from YouTube, where you just use Signar Fleet systems and keep recycling TIE Fighters to get retrieve force.
Yep.
And then I
People
use
are the giant in the game.
yeah, a really nice guy. I've talked to him a few times.
Awesome guy.
And then I use Kairanu to amp 4 strains. Pretty simple deck. I've got a hidden base deck that is currently doing really well in the meta. X-Wing Swarm, hidden base. I've got an invasion deck that I'm not very good at yet, so I keep losing. And
Battle droid?
yeah, battle droids. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it today. Yeah.
Yeah, it laid a pretty big beat down on you with those at one point with
Yep.
those Destiny draws. Those were a lot of fun. And then I've got an Endor Scout deck that I am just awful with. It's just not working for me, but I'm sure other people can do better. And then, then Rhett's got some really zany, really fun stuff that I'll let him talk about.
So, like I said, I've been playing Magic since 1997, and I only have like probably 6 Magic decks. I now have 12 Star Wars decks, and I got into it last year. So I go crazy with all different types of ideas. We've got our your standard fare, like your speeders. I've got Jedi training deck. I'm looking at them right now, but I've got some funny stuff like probe droids. It's just probe droids doing drains and at Jabba's palace, the droid workshop with the 8D8 or whatever his name is, the dark side guy who can drain there.
You had a
He's
bluffs
for
deck.
Droid.
You had a
What's
bluffs
that?
deck I played
Oh yeah,
against.
bluffs. It's yep, bluffs with
What?
Sabak. So it's called bets and bluffs right here.
What?
Yeah, bets and bluffs. So it's Sabak with bluff rules.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And
Never
then
see it coming. Yeah.
you know, funny stuff like that.
Okay.
I've got some I've got a light side and a dark side pod racing decks. But it's Chatter fans and yeah, that guy. That's the guy right there. Yeah, he's great. Love him. I got Chatter fan racing and Abyssin racing, so I've got pod racing on Tatooine, but it's my kind of scum for Abyssins and what's it called? No Love for the Empire, the other one. Court of the Wild Gangster. All right.
I gotta ask, how have you guys
Agents of
not
the Court. No, Agents of the Court. Yeah, that
how
one.
have you guys not like slapped Rhett just by some of these ideas?
Because it's too much fun.
They're great.
Why would you?
I don't know.
Well,
the
well,
fact that you
fun.
mentioned bluffs and so back in the same deck just is making my mind go like just breaking my mind in pieces. It hasn't been broken in a while.
He's done some other stuff like bounty hunters with a Death Star planet explosion deck.
It's a modal prison. Yeah.
No, they don't always work for you.
Like I just fly around collecting bounties, and I've dismantled that since. But flying around collecting bounties, flying back to the Death Star to deposit them into the detention block, yeah, that sort of stuff.
Cool.
Funny.
Oh, that
I got some creatures in there too. People are like, "Oh, creatures."
creature.
Some
Okay. So I know.
stuff.
Speaking of creatures, I know that you guys haven't dipped into the whole virtual set, virtual cards or anything. Please tell me you know that there's like a virtual Porg. Have you guys any idea of like using that in any of your decks?
Porg. I gotta
no.
look up virtual Porg.
I have seen
There
the
you go.
board. Yes, it is a cool card.
Yeah,
No, I've
Reminds
never
me
seen.
of Tommy.
I gotta see what it does.
It doesn't do anything like ridiculously good. It's just it's just a Porg.
Board.
Just a Porg.
It's
Not
it's
too
super
psyched.
powerful
Yeah.
on back two though. Adds a
Tommy has the
On
The
Starship.
only-
That's hilarious.
only oversized Porg in the world.
Yeah, this is the only
Amazing.
oversized.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. No notes. Yeah. Marvelous. That's great.
Right next to the only oversized Corporal Beezer as well.
Oh yeah, nice.
So,
So now-
did they allow you to bring your own deck up into the Battle of Hoth, Clayton, or were you just like rummaging through their pile of community cards, and you had to build 60 right then and there when you walked in?
No, it wasn't like they let me bring my decks up.
True gentlemen.
Yes. Panera gave me a little bit of an idea what I was going into, but I wasn't trying, again, like this is a fun thing for me. I wasn't trying to like tech anything against any specific stuff. So I just brought decks that I enjoyed playing. Dark Side, Yavin 4 Operations. I did bring a Garrison deck to kind of stay on theme with everything. And then I brought a Prophet deck that I've been trying out, and it's doing pretty good. And then I brought a kind of a Mine What You Have Learned Harvest Tatooine deck. So, you know, just some of my old classics that I just enjoy throwing around.
And I don't think anybody in the group would say no to playing anybody's decks. Like
Yeah.
like why would you prevent somebody from having fun? Like why
Yeah.
would you? Yeah. It's like no, there's no saying no. Play what you want.
Yeah.
I'm picking light side, you pick dark side, play what you want. You know.
That's
That's
how we do it. Is just play whatever.
The original plan too was I was gonna bring up a bunch of sealed decks, tournament sealed decks, but we decided probably be a little funner to just do constructed. So we just decided to bring our decks, and I still brought up a bunch of sealed packs, and we just had fun. It was it was low stress, it was chill, it was a really cool, fun little event.
Absolutely.
That's what I love so much
Yeah.
about the Star Wars cards is you show up and most people there they're looking forward to seeing the other people.
Mhm.
And they're curious about what they're playing, right? There's all these last minute 61st card choices and what am I do I got the right thing? People are kind of talking back and forth depending on who's who, and so I would have loved to have been there for this event. Sounds like it's been really fun, and you guys are keeping the action going. You even played today, you said.
Yep.
Yeah, we played what, 4 or close to 5 hours?
Yeah.
Wow.
Flies
Yeah.
by like that
Pretty
too.
good.
Flies by.
Yeah.
I mean, how many games do you
I
guys
think
get
we're
in those 4 or 5 hours?
Well, we played, so we
5.
knew that Clayton, yeah, we knew that Clayton was leaving. So Tim and I just swapped out every game and played Clayton because we know that we can play anytime because we've got this great community that we've built here. Clayton can't necessarily play all the time. So we thought, well, we'll just swap and let him play every single game today because he's leaving. So, yeah.
Nice.
What-
Very generous. Thank you.
There was one thing that you guys mentioned to me before is you were trying to coordinate the Battle of Hoth, and that's why it ended up on World's Weekend with
Yeah.
Clayton's movie shoot. And there was some talk of Clayton's film crew coming to do some paleontologist work with you, Ponera, and you were going to do a dinosaur bone hunt. Can you kind of walk us through that idea, or how did it go?
It didn't. So basically, I became super busy. So I did paleontology for a number of years. But I recently got hired by an archaeology company that does mitigation and stuff like that here. And so I've been busy most weekends helping them. And so literally digging archaeology stuff. And so we were very fortunate that we had this last day to get together because I actually missed the last meetup because I was digging through gravel and stuff like that with this archaeology company. So we actually didn't even talk about going out and looking for dinosaurs or anything like that. Yeah.
And the movie schedule, they're always insane. And so even early on when we were trying to kind of nail down a specific date, it was just like everything's kind of up in the air until the last minute. And so we kind of just ended up playing it by ear. And luckily it has worked out for us. But yeah, it's like sometimes I'm doing overnights and it's just crazy. It's really has worked out well though.
Yeah.
But trying to plan around a movie is impossible.
I'm thinking it's not showing up on the screen, but I got Tauntaun Bones and Cryat Dragon Bones. I'm sitting here thinking we're gonna watch this movie.
Oh man.
And then a card game going in the side, like people throwing down Tauntaun Bones, and so.
Oh man. Maybe next year or something.
Yeah.
That's actually how I met Panera, was on the Clayton's Discord channel. The Star Wars CCG Book Club has several different subsections. One of them is the trash compactor, and somehow the bones always ended up in the trash compactor. Ponera, you're putting down all different like photos of skulls. You're pulling things directly out of the earth with your bare hands, and
Well, not directly because there's a lot of laws here. At one point, I was working under a permit with Mount Royal University, and so I was super excited about that. And so I was like, "Everyone, look at this!" And like 2 people cared, and you were one of them. So, yeah.
An interesting thing. But so the Star Wars CCG Book Club, Clayton, you've been working on this for a long time. Ponera, how did you even hear about it?
I was on the main Discord for the Star Wars CCG thing, and I can't remember what I said. I was very new to the Discord, and Clayton messaged me out of nowhere, and he's like, "Come to this server," and so I did. That's literally how that worked. And then we just chatted a bit more and became friends, and now we send white envelopes of cards back and forth every couple of months, maybe every 6 months. Yeah.
That reminds me, next time you send, I don't know if we're not going to get together again before you leave, hey, Clayton?
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you do, I've got an assault rifle. Not assault rifle. What's it
Yeah,
called?
light repeating.
Light repeating blaster rifle. Yeah, I got one for you.
Yeah.
There you
I want to
go.
give that to you.
So,
Yeah,
so Clayton, you're leaving Calgary. Is this for like an extended time, or is this for like for good?
Yeah, I don't live here. I live in Las Vegas, and I'm only up here for the past month to work on this movie. So I'll be going home at end of the month here. So
Excuse me.
For those watching at home, Clayton's also in the market for, cards that don't see a lot of play. Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, Emperor Palpatine, Imperial Command.
do you have any to spare?
Yeah, I mean, I got a few here that I'm looking at getting to him, but if anyone else wants to chip in, um, please feel
Yeah.
free.
I
Oh,
also
it's kinda rough.
do. Oh, there you
Kinda rough.
go.
Yeah, that one's
Uh,
yours.
Thank you, sir. Light repeating blaster rifle and Black Border Premier Vader are like the two cards that I hoard.
And miscuts.
Like repeating
And
blaster
miscuts.
rifles.
And miscuts. Steve has graciously provided me with one of the coolest miscuts I've ever seen. It was actually two cards that were somehow together, lined up on the or on the cut sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you put them together, they line up. And I have it on display at my house, and it's really cool. I
That's
share it.
incredible.
Yeah, I'll share pictures later.
So,
Ooh, there's Vader.
so I gotta ask, like, being that you guys have been involved with the game for a while and such, what are some of your favorite cards, and do you have a favorite like set of cards? I always
Hoth.
like hearing this.
It's Hoth. It's got to be Hoth.
Oh yeah, you love your Hoth, man. Like Dark
Yeah.
Side specifically, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
Dark
I'd
Side.
like to see you build a light side Hoth. That'd
No,
be sweet.
blasphemy.
No,
No,
no.
no, anything Hoth is really good. And I know you like your Jabba's Palace.
Love Jabba's Palace. I'm probably more of a fan of the Jabba's Palace stuff. Dark Side, just because the scum and villainy sort of thing. There's a miscut for you.
Oh, sweet. Yes.
Crazy one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Beautiful
it's
card.
a good one. Yeah.
Oh my
Jabba's Palace is my favorite set. It's just because
Okay.
of aliens. I love aliens. I love the weird stuff that they do for other sets. Like there are ones where it's just like, yeah, this dude, oh, what is he? The Max Reboot, but the non-unique. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, they get buffs on Hoth. And
Portland or something now.
Or two.
yeah, or Ortolan, or yeah. But they get buffs on Hoth, and they add one more required site for what is it, Walker Garrison or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you need
Yeah.
5 sites instead of 4 or something like that. Yeah, so
So-
it's neat because it's just like, yeah, some dude on Tatooine affects Hoth. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
So-
I love that.
Is that one
Yeah.
of like your counter cards to Steve's?
No, I
Hoth
haven't
Walker?
actually. The only kind of like Tatooine themed card that I have is the guy that lets you pull mechanical failure and does -2s to enemy or opponents like combat vehicles.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
that
like
was
those guys as
it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think
I think that one's a special edition anyway. So, but
yeah.
yeah.
My
Anything-
favorite sets. Oh, sorry. My favorite sets are probably Hoth and Cloud City. My favorite movie's Empire. And
Yes. Yeah.
the Hoth cards are just cool. That was kind of like the first set I really got into the game with. And then the Cloud City cards are just all gorgeous. And
They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
The
a
image
lot of-
quality kind of stepped up.
yeah. And
for
Cloud
that.
City has so many cool like interrupts and stuff. And I think that's really when
Mhm.
crazy interrupts started, coming out.
Neat.
What about the Star Wars CCG book club? Clayton, you've recently ascended to the level of Grand Master in that Discord. Can you tell us a little bit about your ascension, the goals with the book club? I know it's been it's kind of like a more of a retro environment, like NARPy, like we support each other in there. You want to talk about that a little bit and successes and your plans for the future with it?
Yeah, I don't even remember how I discovered it, but it wasn't started by me. but I was one of the very early first members of the book club, and I was very active in it because I just love the retro focus on it. And basically, the idea of it is to help new and returning players kind of get back up to speed with the game. And the idea is that, similar to a book club, we would release a new set every month. So we'll start a phase or a season, if you will. We'll start with Premiere, play it for a month, then we'll do New Hope, play it for a month, Hoth, blah blah blah, and so on and so on. And it's just a really good way. It's like a really nice on-ramp for people coming back to the game to kind of digest it one set at a time. And it's good for older players like myself to kind of relive that experience of having a limited card pool and then, looking forward to the next expansion. And it's just a way, again, the game for me is all about the nostalgia and the fun. And so I really kind of dig in deep to that stuff. And everyone there is welcome, of course. Um, we even just recently made a little sub channel for Star Wars Unlimited. A few guys talk about it in there, and but we really do focus on the retro formats. And we're just it's a really good group of guys and girls. There's a lot of activity going on there, and there's always someone there to answer a question or help someone figure out GAMP or figure out a rules question or how a card works, throw around deck ideas. And goes back to what Tommy was saying. It's just a great community of people centered around this game that we've all loved for the past almost 30 years now, I guess.
Now you're taking a break from you and I have been playing in the Retro League. We recently concluded the Premier Death Star 2. I know you're taking a break from the Premier Reflections Modified. What are you going to be doing with that time, if you have any time, with regard to the book club instead of playing in the retro?
Yeah, so I'm taking a break from it just because I've been very busy with work, and it's hard to schedule the games with people, and I don't want to kind of just give someone a concession. Just I want to be able to play games. So I don't have a lot of time to do that schedule wise, but basically what I want to do is focus on the book club, and part of what the mission is to grow kind of the retro community a bit. And a way of us doing that is we've been working on it for a while, but we're going to kind of officially release it pretty soon here. Is we want to do a friendly format, and we want to do like thematic matchups or scenario play. And that's something Decipher kind of got into a little bit back in the day, if some of the old timers might remember that. But basically, we like to, for the friendly format, it's a little less cutthroat, a little more fun. You're basically limiting non-unique interrupts to 2 copies, and you're limiting any rare or unique card to 2 copies. So, it kind of closes the pool up a bit. It kind of controls abuse of sense and alter all that, and it gives you opportunities to try and maybe try some new cards you haven't played before, or maybe get some of your own unique strategies off the ground without just sense, alter, alter, alter. And then the other thing too, of course, is the scenario play, where we might take like, oh, this month we're gonna do Battle of Hoth, and so we'll just and it's nothing formal, but it's all like, well, dark side you have to start with 5th marker. Light side you have to start with the power generators, and then each deck has to have 5 walkers and 5 snow speeders in it. So it's not so much hard rules, but it's like trying to guide people into playing thematic formats.
Yeah,
and
that
it's
sounds awesome.
just to promote fun, really.
How many planetary ion cannons will be allowed?
You must have one at least.
Must have one. Nice. I have exactly one.
Yeah.
I'll need a Corporal Beezer to pull the remote, of course.
See, there you go. You might never think of doing that unless you're kind of thinking in that thematic environment. It's like, well, what do these cards do that could help in this scenario here.
Yeah, the Beezer Utani combo. You got
Yeah.
your
See, Rhett's cooking. He's like, all
Yeah.
right.
yeah, no, I got it. Yeah.
So is it possible that the Calgary local could be joining Gemp for the first time to play in these achievement formats?
Well, I don't think the world's ready for it.
Well, I mean, how
No,
else are
maybe.
you guys going to play with Clayton when he moves back to Vegas?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I think
played a
that's
few with-
going to be the trigger. That's
Yeah.
going to be the
Yeah.
trigger. We'll miss Clayton too much, so
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
have to start playing online. Yeah.
There you go. No, that's one thing I will say. Like, I'm glad that you guys have found a way to play each other, hang out still when one of your members moves back to where they're from.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
great. Been great.
So now my next question to you guys is there a way that you can like introduce your format to other people? Like, say if they want to play, like, is this to open to anyone, or is it just want to keep it like condensed to you guys?
I would say it's pretty open to everybody. Like it's
Yep.
it's pretty like I mean we even got like Austin, for instance, he prints out, like he just prints all the cards. Like we just kind of have a group agreement that it's just like, yeah, we play Decipher only. But I mean, like some of those virtual cards look like a lot of fun, right? And so if we wanted to include them, we would just say, hey, is it cool if I play Lightside Mara Jade? That sort of thing, right? Like, and it's like, yeah, sure, whatever, because I'm not gonna like do what you want. I might not do it, but somebody else go for it. Austin's decks are all proxy, just because he doesn't want to collect. It's like, cool, make your deck and just play. Play what you want, and that's kind of the environment that we would want to foster. It's just like there's no saying no because of reasons. It's just play game, have fun.
Yeah.
We're here to sling cards, that sort of thing. So yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't think there's any limitation to that. I mean, we might cock an eyebrow if you bring like 4 copies of Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, but it's like, yeah, okay, we can work with it.
So how have the games gone? Like, is there somebody who walks in with like a particular deck and just beats everybody up, or are they kind of wacky and crazy and Star Story or
Yeah, like Clayton, how do you explain your undefeated streak since you arrived?
I mean, like I said before, like I grew up with the game. I
Experience for sure.
played it nonstop, and so like the earlier format games, like I'm pretty good at. Not, pretty good.
That's
But
your home turf. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just I brought a bunch of decks with me that I'm pretty familiar with, and that, everything's kind of old school, and that's kind of where I kind of thrive at this game, and that's the best memories of the game for me. But yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to, and we've talked about it too. It's like the shields and stuff. It's like, well, we didn't used to have shields. So, and I still don't even know how they work fully, but you had to kind of plan for everything a little bit, and that's kind of the approach I take to deck building. So even walking into a local meta, there's a good chance I have a somewhat of an answer to whatever I might come across, just because that's how we had to build decks back in the day.
Exactly.
So that's kind of my approach to how I build my decks too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the games went pretty well. Like we don't have somebody that just stomps everybody. There are decks that are certainly better than others.
Tim's
Like
good stuff. Like,
yeah, Tim's
that
good
is-
stuff decks are pretty tough to beat, but slowly but surely we're starting to crack those. And then the AT-AT deck, of course, like I said, has been pretty central to the meta. And that's being chipped away at pretty heavily now. Like there are devoted decks to sniping it, and there are cards like Mechanical Failure that are in most decks now, I would say.
Really?
Deliberately.
Thought I was the only one.
No, we saw that one appear in Tim's Good Stuff deck today. So he's
Really?
now attacking against it deliberately to,
Oh man.
yeah,
Killed my Blizzard one with it.
yep,
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see as an outsider coming in, because it's just like the tournament scene back in the day was. It's like, you know, someone will show up week after week with the same deck. Everyone will start to plan to beat that deck. Eventually, the deck will start to lose, and then that person will pivot, and it's kind of the whole new discovery process all over again.
It goes in waves, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Times like these, I wish I could bring an X-wing into the atmosphere and do a little bombing run of my own.
Yep.
Well, X-wings don't do bombing runs. You would need a Y-wing
or B-wing.
or a B-wing or a TIE bomber.
House rules.
That's right.
Virtual set 24 light side bombing run.
Oh gosh, please don't. You do not want to have no. No.
I actually use B-wings to plant orbital mines in one of my decks.
Beautiful.
It's kind of fun. Yeah. Control space, damn it. Come here.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
More weapons. The game needs more weapons.
Mm-hmm.
More usable weapons. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not Star Peace. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh god. So I don't know how if you guys have ever seen Holotheatre or where, like, what we do at the end of the show. Normally at the end of the show we do either a trivia question. It's usually what's the underlying card of a specific V card.
Okay.
Not going to subjugate you guys to that.
Okay.
That's a little bit too hard.
I wouldn't know any of them.
But the other challenge that we do is what's known as a lore challenge. What happens is you get 30 seconds. I'll read off the lore of a card. Actually, you get 45 seconds. Sorry. Read off the lore of a card, and then you guys just, after I'm done reading the lore, you either get to, as a hint, you get ask me if you want it to be the set the card is from or the type of the card. I'll give you a good hint. There are no locations.
Okay.
So you get to pick which one you want. You can only pick one set or type. I tell you what it is, and then after that, your 45 seconds starts, and you just tell me what the card is.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share them. I'm going to put up the actual lore, read it, and then, like I said, I'll give you the hint. So let's get that up on screen for everybody. And, I'm going to share my screen with you guys.
There will also be no epic events, admiral's orders, or objectives.
Probably not.
Sounds bright.
Okay, can you guys see that?
I can.
Has started.
Okay. So,
Oh, there we go.
Perfect. Your lore challenge is an Alderanian slicer and technician, trained by Brooks Carlson to serve as a scout for the Alliance Commandos. She gets nervous when General Solo tries to hotwire something. Would you like the set or the type?
I would say type. What clue do you guys want?
Kind of obvious that it's a character.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I know the set.
I'm pretty sure I know the card.
Okay, well, again, you guys get to pick which one you want.
Let's do card type.
Okay? So again, it's a concession. So, Clayton, you want a card type. Rhett, what do you want?
I would like the set.
Steve?
Is there anything more I can add? I mean, Clayton knows what
You're
it
the
is.
tiebreaker. Do you want the type or the set?
Oh, I don't know. How about the set?
Okay, the set is Endor.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
45 seconds start now.
Gotta be Beezer, right?
Again, this is a team effort, so you guys have to agree.
I'm going to go with Clayton on this.
Beezer.
Yeah, I think it's Beezer.
It's gotta be Beezer.
Yeah, I was
Looking
thinking
for the-
Beezer as well.
Looking for the card title here. Is that your favorite?
We're looking for the card
Corporal
title.
Beezer.
Corporal Beezer.
Corporal Beezer.
Yeah, you guys are right.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, I kind of had to.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great way to start the game. Now we know how the game works.
That's
Yeah.
the game. That is
Beautiful.
how the game goes.
Beautiful.
So-
When I
All right,
Okay.
we're at 100%, guys. We're good. We're doing good.
Appetizer.
Okay.
Little.
Just
little-
gonna
Okay,
get
now we're
harder.
gonna bust out a V card. Let's do that one
Okay. Oh boy. Oh,
because that one, the last one was a softball. Nah. So you guys will win. So we'll get you. We'll get one of your addresses and we'll send you a nice little package.
oh, cool.
oh, that's
Sweet.
it.
Okay.
That's
Thank you
it.
very much.
I
Cool.
want to do best of three.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, I like giving out packages.
Heck yeah.
okay. So is that the end?
So
Is
yeah,
that-
I mean that's all I had for this special episode.
Okay.
Uh,
I had something I wanted to add.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So if there's people out there that are in like a city of decent size or even mediocre size, and they're wanting to set up kind of like what we have going on in Calgary, really there's only a few ingredients that you need. You just need to have players interested,
Mhm.
and if you've got enough cards, what we did, like we set up John, and we set up Rhett really quickly by simply being generous with cards. And I'm not saying go out and give them your Lord Vaders, but by simply giving enough cards that they can play the game.
Mhm.
So don't sit on a throne of your common and your bulk. Give that away so that people can play the game. We'll encourage them to do so, and then you can build the community that way. And that's been the basis of how we've built what we have in Calgary. Is this sort of idea of like a communal bulk where like you can take some home so you can build your decks, but there's a pile of it sitting in my basement that people are welcome to come over and paw through at any time, given my schedule. They don't just have a key to my house.
I'll see you next weekend then. I'll stop by.
Yeah. Come and fly. Yeah, you're welcome to come and join us at any time. And then if you've got like a format that you simply cannot agree on, because I know some people really want to do virtual, blah blah blah. You're all adults. Maybe rotate it, right? So one weekend, you do virtual. One weekend you do Decipher only. You guys are adults. You can figure this out, right? It really just takes a will to try to get it sorted out. It's truly not that difficult to set something up that's stable with a group of friends. So just put a little bit of effort into it.
It doesn't even need to be friends. It can be strangers. Like
we were.
I got into the game shortly after, or shortly, like just at the same time as meeting
Mhm.
Steve, right? And
Yeah.
we hang out like weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
And you don't really need it. The best thing to do is if you've got somebody that you like, another good strategy, not the best thing, but another good strategy is, and this is how I got into it. If you're looking to buy cards and they're local, if you happen to find somebody on like Facebook Marketplace or somebody like that, like I found Steve, just ask like, hey, do you play this game? I'm like, how do you know how to play this game?
Mhm.
And maybe they'll say yes or no, but we can figure it out. And then that just opens the conversation. It opens up that, that spark of making a community. And it's sharing knowledge, sharing the rules and stuff like that, and figuring it out yourself. That to me is even better, because then you're like learning together, and there's a better sense of community that way. So
And furthermore, if you don't have any of those options either, you can always play online for free on GEMP. And please come to the book club, get on Discord, and you'll be welcomed with open arms. And we would love to have everyone and everyone who's interested, come on over. So
Mhm.
there's
Who knows?
tons of ways to
mentioned
play this game still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
Wanted to thank
Thank
you all
you,
so much. Yeah, coming on, your generosity with each other, your generosity with the invitations and offers, and couldn't have had a better group of people come on and share their love of the game. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thanks.
guys. Thank you
Appreciate
all.
it.
Take care. And as always, may the force be with you guys.
Clear skies.